around for many years. I've lost some things and shed some tears. Watch the love light dimming in your eyes. I've done some things, I've got them wrong. Well, I'm not proud, but I'm still strong. And no, I won't do that. No, I won't do that. Don't you get me wrong. Don't you get me wrong. I never meant to hurt you with my song. But you gotta know. Gotta be so. But no, I won't do that. No, I won't do that. I won't do that. We've been together for 20 years, shared many joys and many fears. Now you tell me that you think we're through. You think that I am not that strong. I'm telling you that you're so wrong. And no, I won't do that. No, I won't do that. Don't you get me wrong. Don't you get me wrong. I never meant to.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Musical Connections. And you know, the person I'm about to introduce to you now, well, we made a connection back a few years back, and we had a lot in common because we came to this business a wee bit later on, but we've made up for lost time. So would you please give a big welcome to Ronan Gallagher. How are you, Ronan?
Gerry, thank you.
Oh, it's great to have you here,
Thanks
man.
very much. Great to be here.
And I know that in the last few weeks you've been very busy. You know, you had songs from the lake and you had a whole lot of stuff going on, and I was lucky enough to be there and experience it, and it was a great evening. But would you just tell me how you got involved in the music, Ronan, and indeed all the other stuff you've been doing over the past few years? I'd just love to hear the story.
Well, I got involved in music late in life, about I was in my late 50s. But before that I'd been involved in film. I'd worked in, actually had a couple of feature films made, and I directed a few short films and written a few scripts. But I discovered, I think, late in life that actually you could write a whole film script in a 3-minute song. And you didn't have half the amount of people to go through to get it done either. You know, you could just do it with guitar and yourself. So I remember I was in the house one night and listening to the radio, and there was somebody going on about, you know, changing your life and, you know, what you might do. And some guy said something about, you know, look to what your strengths are. And then suddenly I realised that, well, words are my strengths, and I can write words. And I just, about a week later, I was in a train station, my local train station in Drummond, and I met a young fella who was heading off to Australia. He was emigrating, and it was a few years after the crash, but still suffering the consequences of it. And I asked him, I said, where will you be in a couple of weeks' time? He said, I don't know, but I'll be long effing gone, he said. But I thought I'd long gone, he said. So I went to the car after that, and literally on the back of a cigarette, Benson had a cigarette pack, I wrote the words to Long Gone, which is my first song, which is on my first album.
Yes.
And it was about an emigration. And that's when I kind of understood that, yeah, songwriting, this is definitely something I want to do. And I went home and I picked up the guitar, and I had a sort of riff that I knew. I wasn't really good at playing the guitar anyway. I only knew a couple of chords. I still only know a few chords. But I eventually picked that up, got a riff, and suddenly the song came out, like within minutes. Had all the lyrics down, I had it all down, and that was the start of it. That was it.
And you know, it's something that I know about you, Ronan, that you're a very prolific songwriter. I mean, I think you told me you could have over 250 songs written, 2 albums out and released, 2 very successful albums, amazing music on it. And a third one, I think, that is well on the way at the minute. So you know, it seems to be creating a song is easy for you, and is something that comes natural to you. And I'm sure you get a lot of fulfillment from doing it, Ronan.
Well, there's another instant gratification, especially when they come out quick. You know, it's great. It's only about that end at the end of the song. But it's not. I mean, I've about 200 songs written, I think, and I'd say quite a large percentage of those I would record without question. But you have to pick up the guitar and you have to start strumming. You find a melody, you find a line. Doesn't mean you're doing it every day of the week.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't be doing it every day of the week. But when I do, I get into it. Like last night, actually, I said to you, I've been up doing sort of a radio show that I was working on. But before that, what kept me up to that hour was the fact that I was trying to write a song as well.
Yes.
But I was trying to force it, and it never works, you know. And
No.
I've got 4 lines, and 4 simple lines. Johnny's on a mission, he's heading into town. Something's going to happen, something's going down. That's all I had.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
But I was trying to force it out. I couldn't get anything else. So you can't force it. And that's the kind of thing of it, You can't pick up and say, or write it. Somebody say, will you write a song about? I don't think that works. It doesn't work for me anyway. So.
And I think also, it says a lot about the respect that you're held, like the musicians that have worked with you on your albums, the likes of Johnny Gallagher and Mark Black and people like that.
Yeah.
That for those of you who are maybe not familiar with the Irish music scene, these are very well respected people of the very top of the professions. And I can tell you the whole role in the highest of regard. And I'm not surprised by that. But you mentioned earlier on too, you did a little work with film. You might want to tell me a bit more about that as well.
I did. Yeah, I wrote a few scripts, and I was involved in a feature film that was made here called When the Sky Falls. Pete Postlethwaite was in it, and Joan Allen, and so I got into script writing, and I did find that difficult. Not just script write, but all the chronology you had to go through, and the 50 different people just to tell you that who've never written a script in their life, telling you how your story should be changed or whatever. Yeah. It's very collaborative. And I don't mind that at all. I just found it very, well then of course, I was only starting off, so you wouldn't probably have as much say in things as others. But I have written scripts. I kept writing scripts. I've written quite a few of them. I've one written on a great Irish hero that actually the one hero in Ireland that unifies both sides of the divide in this country, and always is held in great esteem by both sides. His name was Cuchulainn, one of the great old myth stories here in Ireland. So I have a script written for that. I wrote it about 10 years ago, and then I sort of just left it there, got into the songwriting, and so that. But maybe someday it might revive that. I mean, I think of Game of Thrones could be a great series of mythology, etc. Cuchulainn certainly could too. And as I point out to people, over 40 million Americans have heard of Cuchulainn. Mightn't necessarily know his full story, but they've heard the name of Cuchulainn, and of course the connection with our famous game of hurling as well in our culture. So.
Well, I think folks. Prior to this, Ronan was telling me, the outline of the opening for the film of Cuchulainn, and let me tell you, if anyone out there is involved in the Marvel universe and they want to make a film based on a genuine Irish superhero, this man is the script. Come get him.
Yeah.
Come get him.
I'm not the superhero though.
No, but he has the script, and that's what this is all about. Talking to people like Ronan that has so much talent and ability, and we want everyone else to know about that. And it's not just in the songs he writes. It's not just in the music that he has created. So many other things, and that's what we're trying to do, Ronan. We're trying to highlight them because the amount of talent we have, not alone in this country, but right across the world, and. You also know, because you've used Facebook well, where you did your online gigs, how great a connection social media is to make that connection with the music lover. I mean, massive. You would have great experience of that.
Yeah. Social media is huge. A great way to connect with fans and with people. And a great way also for me, I do my Sunday live stream every Sunday, trying out new songs and seeing the reaction to different songs as well. And also just release. It's great to play.
Yeah.
And the internet has changed. There's a paradigm shift because now you can set up a gig, you can have a live audience at it, but you could also stream it and charge people for that as well if they're willing to pay for it. So there's opening up of revenues and ways for musicians to make a living, new ways that we can make a living, I think.
We've also been through to say, Ronan, that even when you recorded probably your last album, it was a big help. You put a campaign together, where people could be a part of the project album, that financially was a big help in putting the album together.
Well, yeah, I mean, we basically pre-sold the album before we even made it. And there was a lot of confidence from people, who literally bought the album before it was even recorded through a crowdfunding. And as I said, my first album as well. And that's great to know that there are people out there that would, that appreciate your music enough to give you to literally buy it before it's ready to support you, so that you can make it, and then they receive a copy. And it's a wonderful way to work too, because it kind of ensures that you have the budget to make your album at the start. You know that all the CDs you print are going out to people who are loving homes, as I call them, and you get great music made, and that's a wonderful way to work.
It is indeed. And look at folks, if you want to check Ronan out, his 2 albums that are currently out at the minute. The first one's called Always Broke, Never Broken, which is a great title. And then the second one is Time Waits for No One. So Both are excellent albums. You can have a listen to them on Spotify. You can catch them probably on Bandcamp too, can't you, Ronan?
No, not on Bandcamp. I'm on Spotify, and then I have my own site, RonanGallaghermusic.com.
So RonanGallaghermusic.com, check it out. You will, at the end of this conversation now, there will be some video footage of Ronan acting. You'll see for yourself just how good this man is. Ronan, on behalf of myself and on behalf of the technical director over there, Jesse Jackson, who put all this together, it's been a pleasure to chat with you about what's happening. And we certainly hope for brighter days when things open up again. And I have a funny feeling that maybe there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
I think there is. I mean, there's always hope. In fact, the last song I wrote actually is called "Find the Light."
Yeah,
and, it's kind of one of those. I wrote a few songs actually in lockdown, and that was
yeah,
and they're different songs.
Yeah,
and they more introspective, and some of them will be on a new album. And it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting thing of what's coming out of the lockdown. It's a different songwriting for me anyway.
Yeah, and that'll be remembered in years to come, this period, because if it was, the Second World War, there were songs written at that time, the likes of Vera Lynn and people like that wrote things like We'll Meet Again that become classics. The same thing is happening now. And the one thing that we have in the world is music to connect us, and that's why we're doing this, and that's why we want to connect everybody. So look, have a listen to the music at the end of this conversation. Please share it with everybody, because that's why we're doing this. We love music and we love the people involved in it. And again, Ronan, thanks so much
very much for having me,
doing this conversation with us here on episode 2 of Musical Connections.
Thank you.
That crushing our resistance to make way for a corporatocracy. They're building ivory towers to rule over you and me. We protest on the city streets, but they don't care because they can't see the hunger in the people's hearts where freedom used to be. Decisions without talking to you and to me. They've paved a line of car parks and cut down all of our trees. They'll rip and cut and frack and burn and profit while the whole world bleeds, and tell us that we're doing fine with money and a 40-inch TV. Precious thing that belongs to you and to me. The greatest gift that's in our hearts is our yearning to be free. But freedom can't be bought or sold.